You ever have a show and went,
"That's pretty good,"
but for whatever reason, it never gained a lot of traction or recognition? Well, today I wanted to shed some light on some of these shows and suggest some that you might have not seen. These are my top 5 shows that I feel are a little bit underrated. Wander Over Yonder is probably one of Disney's most underrated shows Disney has ever done. And you know what? It's all Disney's fucking fault. So here's what happened. Craig McCracken, the creator of Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imagination, made Wander Over Yonder with the intention of making something different from what he's used to making. He wanted to make a show with a storyline. And Disney, being the control freak that they are, said, "Hey, Craig, listen buddy, you're making random episodes, or you're not making shit." So he caved in and made random episodes. But Craig, however, did slip in some story by the end of the series, and you know what? It actually got more popular, him doing that. The popularity of the show did go up, to my knowledge, with the addition of the villain, Lord Dominator, but Disney, just being dumb, just canceled the show anyways, and pretty much squandered the show's potential. And it's a shame, because I would be down to watch something with a storyline with the kind of animation quality that Wander has. This is a good example on why creators don't like the idea of working for Disney. They're a little bit too controlling with their programming. Hearing shit about this show kind of makes me feel happy that Alex Hirsch kind of ended Gravity Falls before Disney could fuck him over. Well, whatever the case, I think Wander was a good show. The animation is amazing, characters are fun, and there's enough Lord Dominator porn that can satisfy anyone. Wayside Stories was the shit in elementary school. I was never really fond of reading, I wasn't bad at it at all, but I just kind of found reading really boring. But for some reason, I could get down with Wayside. And the 2000s Wayside TV series, I feel, is a good adaptation of the books. I'm not one of those annoying book beaters that goes like,
"It's not 100% like the books, so that means it's garbage. The Shining is a terrible movie because it's nothing like the books, so that means it's an awful movie."
Shut the fuck up!
Anyways, the 2000s Wayside show is a fun show. It's really colorful, the characters pretty much seem the same from the books to me, and I also like how this school is constructed. Like, you need to be physically fit to get to the library in this school. And one thing I actually really like about this show is that it's all available on YouTube, and it's not in like shit quality either. This is the official Wayside YouTube channel. But the one thing I do have to rant about this show is, and this goes for the book too, our main character Todd, voiced by our god Michael Cera, daily dilemma in the show is that he gets sent home early on the kindergarten bus as a punishment. I still don't understand how that's a punishment. I mean, if it takes me calling my teacher a fat bitch and it means that I get to go home early, I'm gonna do that on a daily occurrence. Like, no joke, if it means I get to go home an hour earlier than everyone else, I will fucking break some shit. Number 3 goes to
Bionic Titan.
Bionic Titan.
Bionic Titan. Bionic Titan.
Bionic Titan is a great show made by cartoon legend Genndy Tartakovsky, a man with a pretty impressive resume. All the stuff that he puts out, it's really great, and Titan is no exception. Bionic Titan has a very interesting premise. It's about these 3 aliens crashing on Earth trying to escape from their war-torn planet in hopes of surviving and possibly leading a rebellion. Bionic Titan is a big love letter to all things mecha, and if you're into mecha, you're gonna have a good time. And even if you're not as familiar, you still might have a great time. The characters are great and have pretty interesting backstories. They also have really good character designs. Like, I like how slick Lance's look is, and Alana wears these really cool outfits and they change all throughout the show. I always like that about shows where they have a character change up their style in each episode. And last character, Octus, is just the best. He also gets a lot of ass. The artwork for Bionic Titan is amazing. Like, fuck, you got South Korea working extra hard on this shit. And the mech design for the Titan is amazing. Like, it looks so complex and hard to draw. And they use CGI for it too, and it blows my mind that it's CG. Like, I didn't even know that at first. Like, this is one of the best integrations of 3D in my mind. You hear that, Berserk? That's what CG is supposed to look like, not this. Take fucking notes. It's a shame a show of this quality didn't do well and is written off for taxes. I again curse the name of CN Real for squandering this show's audience. I believe the whole CN Real thing really left a bad taste in people's mouths, and during that time they missed out on some really cool shows. The only thing the general public really knows about this show is that there's booty dancing in it. This next one's an anime.
I sub for cartoons.
Will you ignorant niggas please shut the hell up?
Nichijou is one of the funniest and severely underrated shows I think I've seen, period. And by Kyoto Animation standards, this show is sold poorly. For those of you that don't know Kyoto Animation is the studio known for popularizing the moe slice of life genre in anime, with shows like Lucky Star, Haruhi, and K-On! And if you know anything about those shows, they make fucking bank in Japan with Blu-ray and DVD sales. But apparently Nichijou sold like shit, and I can't even comprehend why. Like, where else are you gonna find a school principal do this? Nichijou is unlike anything Kyoto Animation has done. For starters, it's more of a gag-driven comedy than a moe slice of life show. There's still some, that aspect in it, but it's much more of a, again, gag-driven comedy. So if you're, for whatever reason, hate moe or slice of life, I implore you, give Nichijou a chance. It's honestly not like that. The gags in the show are bizarre, and the animation quality is great. I mean, it's Kyoto Animation. They never skimp out on animation, even for their shitty shows. The one thing I think is worth a note with the animation is that I really love the opening and ending animation. They look so beautiful. The OP is so energetic and really gets me in the mood for watching the show. And the ED looks great. It looks like a child's storybook. Also, the song is great too. So please go out and watch Nichijou. It's the best. I want more of this, but the likelihood of that is very low. Before we get to number 1, I want to throw out some honorable mentions. Those going to Clone High, The Critic, and Duckman. These are all good shows. I've seen a bit of each, and I think they're really funny and great and deserve to be on anyone's underrated list. It's just that they're on every list, about this topic, so I kind of just didn't want to regurgitate the same shit. Like, every underrated list has, oh, it's number 1, Clone High, Duckman, or The Critic, and it's kind of just gets boring. But I do implore you guys to go out and watch them. They are really good. Last honorable mention goes to Bakano, another anime. I felt like one anime for this list was enough. You guys are more here for American cartoons, so I didn't want to overload my list with anime stuff because you guys not really that into it. But Bakano is one of my favorites. It has 1940s gangsters, a great dub, a large cast of characters that are really likable, like Isaac and Maria, and it's a fun time.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Number 1, and I know this is cheating, but I don't care, early Adult Swim is my number 1 choice for underrated cartoons. Space Ghost, Home Movies, Clerks, The Oblongs, and my favorite, Mission Hill, pretty much share the same story. They all premiered at the wrong time for Adult Swim. 1, Adult Swim was not a popular channel or programming block back then. It was more obscure to a lot of people, and just stumbling upon it was actually really fun. 2, at that time, Adult Swim had a very minimal budget. Their budget wasn't Rick and Morty or Black Dynamite levels of quality, so having a really nicely animated show like Clerks or Mission Hill didn't seem plausible at that time. But going back to the shows, I really enjoy Space Ghost Coast to Coast for how weird and bizarre the concept is. Like, they gave this Batman knockoff a goofy talk show with just reused animation cells. It's dumb, but it's funny. Clerks, the animated series, is really funny and looks like a graphic designer's wet dream. I have really fond memories of watching Home Movies and The Oblongs back then, staying up late to watch them. And Coach McGurk on Home Movies is one character I think that everyone should aspire to be one day.
Watch it, jerk.
Coach McGurk?
Brendan, what are you doing in my house?
You're on the beach.
What are you doing on my beach?
But my favorite one that I watched recently was Mission Hill. I really enjoyed the humor and the characters in the show. I found them very relatable for some reason. I also love how it looks. The backgrounds, they're just so colorful. The whole show, it's just a clusterfuck of colors. Like, people have blue hair that turns black at night. All the buildings are multiple colors. People are wearing these bright green shirts and weird colored pants, and I just love it. And all the characters are really entertaining. This one, out of all the early Adult Swim stuff, I want to see more of. Seeing a season 2 or more of this show is likely never going to happen, but miracles do happen sometimes. Like, we're getting more of Samurai Jack, though that promised release date of 2016 is smelling a little bit more like bullshit. Like, we got a couple months left of 2016 left. How the hell are they gonna come out with that? Like, we've only seen like maybe 10 seconds of a trailer once. It's not gonna happen. But for what it is, I'm glad what I got from these shows, and hopefully I've showed you guys something new. I've been Mars Reviews, and you better go fucking watch Nichijou, you piece of shit.
Let's